You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Trading Hour. We are starting a little late, of course, the policy coverage accounting for that delay. But, I mean, the policy has been supportive, lots of commentary, lots of opinion, which we will revisit in just a bit from now. But there is also the market, which I think we will focus on extensively over the next, 40, 45 minutes or so. With me, my colleague Rima. Hi, Rima.
Hi Prashant, morning. Yes, markets on a liquidity steroid, right? The Sensex scales that 45,000 mark. The Nifty went on to hit 13,250, and as of now as well, markets are pretty much holding on to all their gains. Let's drill it down to the individual stocks and the winners and losers in trade. The top gainer on the Nifty today is UltraTech Cement. It's hit a fresh 52-week high. It scaled past that 5,000 level in today's trade with an up move of nearly 4.5% as we speak. Nigel joins in to fill us in on why the stock is higher. Nigel, there was this capex which was announced by the company yesterday. The details, please.
Well, the three broad points that I've picked up in terms of what is their vision going ahead. One is that they're looking at expanding capacity by around 19 to around 20 million tons. Keep in mind that 7 million tons out of this 20 million tons was already announced earlier. So it's around 13 million tons that they have announced at an expansion cost of close to around $55 to $60 per ton. So that's fairly attractive, and bulk of this expansion will come in Central as well as East India. In fact, East India will be close to around 10 to around 11 million tons odd. So most of it in East India, coupled with Central India, that will be nearly around 80% of their expansion. And by FY 2023, they'll be nearly around 136 million tons in terms of total capacity. That's point number one. Second factor is, as of now, they have a debt of close to around 12,500 crores odd. It has been coming down from around 20,000 crores odd. So keeping in mind that, yes, they're going to be doing such a big expansion that will cost them roughly around 6,000 crores, yet they are saying that they'll be debt-free by FY 23. So that's fairly good, because keep in mind the net debt to EBITDA was at around 3.5 times. A couple of years ago, it's come down to around 1 time, and they're saying going ahead, they'll be a cash surplus company. So that's another positive. And finally, the ROCE as of the last year was close to around 11%. They're saying for the expansion, the ROC will be nearly around 15%. So these are the broad factors in terms of their vision. What are brokerages making of it? Credit Suisse, they have gone ahead. They like this positive comments that are coming in there from UltraTech Cement. They're saying that now they have come back with confidence, and they're looking at, in fact, expanding capacity post this pandemic. They're viewing it positively. They've increased the EPS estimates for the next couple of years. Macquarie, they're saying that, in fact, the volumes will come into play only in FY 24. So there'll be no changes in the next couple of years. So that's why they're not moving their target price. Jefferies is saying, well, their target price is 6,000 rupees. It's good for UltraTech, but what about the industry? JK Cement, Shree Cement, both of them have already announced expansion. Now UltraTech Cement is doing this expansion at such a low cost, so they can push volumes. That could put some pressure in the years to come. And finally, Nomura, they reiterate their buy rating with a target price of 6,100 rupees per share. Back to you.
Nigel, thanks very much for that. That point, is there any specific commentary or clarity on whether this will lead to a flurry of announcement from other cement companies as well? So much extra capacity coming on. What does it do to pricing? Are those factors which some of these brokers are considering?
Well, that's precisely the point that Jefferies was making, right? Which are the other companies that have announced capacity expansion? Shree Cement. They have been talking about capacity expansion aggressively. And JK Cement as well has been talking about capacity expansion. Now, when this COVID situation hit all of us, everyone was not talking about capex. Even UltraTech Cement in the Q2 con call, they said we're not commenting in terms of capex. So the capex that had to be announced at the end of Q2 was announced now. The fear is that since there is so much of capacity addition in East India, which is doing well, mind you, and it's growing very, very well, there could be surplus capacity out there, and that could put pressure on prices going ahead. And the other problem is the largest cement player is adding capacity at $55 per ton. The replacement cost normally, or the cost of setting up a new cement unit, is nearly around $100, $90 to $100 per ton. So if they're setting it up so cheap, they could, they have that liberty or that cushion to push through volumes, and that could put pricing. But that's for an afterthought. For the time being, the sentiment is positive that they're going ahead and increasing capacity.
Nigel, thanks very much for that. So that's UltraTech in focus, also other cement companies in focus. I mean, it's a powerful signal, as Nigel said, largest cement company adding capacity at a cheap cost, lots of capacity. I mean, means growth for Ultratech, but what about the industry? Those are questions which we will continue to get answers from, from analysts and companies, etc., other companies as well. Well, airline stocks are the other set which are doing extremely well. Look, you just have to look at what's happening with SpiceJet. It's catching up in a big way to what the performance at Indigo has been. The government has allowed airlines to fly at 80% of pre-COVID capacity. What would this mean? Indigo is already at 70% capacity. We told you that yesterday. Sonia is here with more details on this. Sonia.
Well, aviation stocks are the big movers in trade on the back of the relief coming in from the central government that airlines can now fly up to 90% of the pre-COVID capacity. The capacity levels have been raised from 80 to 90%, and the reason for that is that there's been a big surge in passenger traffic. Passenger traffic, in fact, has risen in the domestic aviation space from just 3,000 passengers in the peak of the lockdown, that's on the 25th of May, to a new high of 2.52 lakh passengers on the 30th of November. Also, don't forget that there was news that SpiceJet will now provide logistics support for COVID-19 vaccine delivery as well. So that's an added positive for them. The other thing is that there will be now, Boeing 737 Maxes will now be allowed to fly, and SpiceJet is the only Indian company that has Boeing 737 aircrafts. So this will come as a positive trigger as well. But don't forget, the stocks have rallied substantially. In fact, Indigo is up 40% from the lows in September, while SpiceJet has already doubled from the October levels. So do keep that in mind. But this is a big positive coming in for aviation companies. The fact that now they can fly up to 90% of the pre-COVID capacity. Back to you.
Sonia, thanks very much for that. So that's airlines in focus, 9% gains on SpiceJet. Well, from cement to what's happening with aviation, now we go on to telecom. The latest TRAI data for the sector is out. This is for the month of September. Reema has got details. Reema.
Thanks so much for that. Well, three key takeaways. One, in the month of September, Bharti has added the most subscribers. They've added close to 38 lakh subscribers, and this marks the second consecutive month when Bharti's subscriber addition was more than that of Jio. Before that, it was always Jio, which was the leader in terms of subscriber adds. When we look at Reliance Jio, in the month of September, they've added about 14.5 lakh subscribers. Positive, yes, so they've gained market share. But the problem is that the momentum of subscriber addition has been progressively coming down for Reliance Jio. So that is something that needs to be monitored. For Vodafone Idea, the picture, however, continues to remain fairly bleak. They've lost nearly 46.5 lakh subscribers in the quarter gone by. In fact, since the pandemic, that's since March 2020, VIL has lost 3 crore subscribers. We were looking at their market share. The market share has fallen by 6 percentage points in the last 1 year. September of 2019, it was 31.7. It's now come down to 25.7%. So the data is not looking good when it comes for Vodafone Idea. Back to you.
It's not looked good for a while, is it, Reema? Thanks very much for that. Now let's move on to the diagnostics companies. It's a sector which has seen a lot of interest. The stocks have done very well. But what do the latest price cuts in RT-PCR tests mean for these companies? My colleague Ekta is joining in with more on that. Ekta.
Hi, thanks very much, Prashant, for that. Well, like you mentioned, it seems as though private labs are now up in arms over the decision to cap RT-PCR tests further. So apparently many may even scale down tests. But the truth is that this is actually the second time that prices of the RT-PCR tests have been slashed in the past few months. So for example, currently Delhi is at around 800 rupees, Odisha is as low as 400 rupees, West Bengal is at around 950 rupees, and Rajasthan is at 800 rupees. Also, the Supreme Court is hearing a plea that RT-PCR tests should be capped at around 400 rupees. So this is not something new that they're dealing with. In fact, most of the diagnostic companies are of the view that non-COVID testing is going to rise going forward, and COVID testing is basically going to, scale back a little bit as the pandemic sort of slows down. To put it into perspective, RT-PCR tests contributed around 35% of sales for Metropolis and around 17% for Dr. Lals in the previous quarter. I also just want to point out that maybe it could also just be volumes rising because of the prices falling, because, for example, in in Q3 FY21, the volume of testing, according to reports, has risen 49% as compared to Q2 already.
Welcome back, Ekta. It's lovely listening and hearing you. Thanks so much for joining in. We'll slip into a very short break. Markets holding on to all their gains. We'll come back with more. Stay tuned.